Hello, hello. Um, it is the 23rd of December, which I can't even believe. I am finishing off, what's this, day 10 of the Wool and Works 12-day Advent. And I've got day 11 just here, and we're going to open up day 12 together. So, I thought what I would do is I would go through some of my knitting books with you. Yesterday I went through my stash, and I will go through my knitting books today and tell you about them, tell you why I like them. Yeah. So, again, stay tuned for a long one if you so wish. I'm just going to quickly get a few stitches into this row. I'm only doing a garter row for this one because I've got that much left. There's not quite enough, so I'm just going to start the garter row, and I need to get enough that I'm not going to slip my needle. I've got moisturizer on my hands, so that could get very awkward. All right, so day 23, let's open Knit or Die Oz. I have to admit, again, I peaked on Instagram, so I don't feel bad about it though. It's beautiful. So this is Major Mitchell's Cockatoo. I love that colour. So the Major Mitchell's Cockatoo is a small pink and white parrot resembling a sulphur-crested cockatoo. Major Mitchell's cockatoos only occur in Australia's semi-arid and arid regions. The birds form small flocks during feeding, often combining with groups of galahs or little corellas to form large flocks of hundreds of birds. Breeding pairs share parental care, taking turns to incubate the eggs and feeding the chicks. The eggs are laid in a bed of rotting wood that is placed at the bottom of hollows in old trees. So pretty. I wonder if we're going to end on pink. All right, so the next one is Olivia and Oliver. Ooh, that's a deviation from that grey. How nice is that though? That's gorgeous. So let me come close so I can show you the inspo pic. This is Angkor Wat. So Angkor Wat is the largest religious monument in the world, located in Siem Reap, Cambodia. Siem Reap, I think. It covers nearly 1 square mile and was built as a Hindu temple in the early 12th century. Near Angkor Wat is Angkor Thom, a sprawling 5.5 square kilometre or 3.5 square mile complex that was the last capital of the Khmer Empire. That is so cool. All right, and last day of the Wool and Works. Ooh, it's me, my mouse. The Wool and Works 12-day Advent. Come on. Oh, it's a fun purple. Okay. All right, so that's going to be 1, 2. Oh. Well done, Astrid. Drop a stitch. What a fun way to end that. That's gorgeous. I love that. Let me just go pick up the stitch again because I'm a genius. All right, little friend. And I'm pretty sure you were just pearls. Yes, you were. And I'll knit you in punishment of trying to escape. There we go. All right, so those are my advents for today. Yes. This podcast is brought to you by a fruit mince pie. I already had my coffee, but this is going to be a fruit mince pie day because they're so good. And it's a day before my Christmas starts. So, I wonder what your traditions are, but my traditions are Christmas Eve, I go out with my cousins. I go to my aunt's house and we have a massive, massive party. And it's just so good. So it's actually my dad's relatives, but they chose my mum in the divorce, and which I always find the funniest thing. And so yeah, we're just gonna go hang out with them. I might go buy more pink dye and put it back in my hair because it's starting to come out. Although I did this last year, and I put pink on top of the pink, and then it stained my hair, and it never came out. So I'm a bit nervous, but I also love the pink too much to not do it. I am going to go shopping soon, and I need to get a few things for dinner. So I'm making dessert for tomorrow night. No idea what to make. Mum normally makes her pavlova. I might make brownies or something like that, or even I do a white Christmas something. And then on sorry, I'm just going to turn my phone on silent because I am getting a lot of notifications. Yes, so I'm going to do dessert for tomorrow night with the big family, and then Christmas morning, Mum puts on breakfast. Christmas lunch, we go to Dad's. Although Dad has just moved, and it's going to be a 43-degree hot day in Australia, in WA, and he doesn't have aircon. And I feel like this is going to not go well because 43 degrees, by the way, this is Celsius, so this is like halfway to boiling. 43 degrees is not a place I want to be at, and especially when there's no aircon. So I basically replied to Dad and was like, this doesn't sound like a good plan. Can we meet somewhere else? Because I'm an adult now and I can choose where I go, and not death is kind of where I'm heading, preferably. So I will definitely be seeing where we go. I will make a traditional, I think it's a traditional Polish, but it's traditional Latvian as well, cucumber and sour cream salad. It is my favorite. I love it. I always put crap loads of dill and pickles in it as well, and I like to put tomatoes in because I feel like it just adds a little to the Christmas theme if it's green and white and red. And then Boxing Day is Alec and my 1 year. So he's not home yet, so I haven't spoken to him about what our plans are, if we have plans, if we are just going to sit and chill because it's going to be bloody hot. And I'm not keen on the hot weather, so as you can probably tell. So yeah, so we shall see what happens. I feel like I'm really playing it by ear. I really just don't know. And I'm quite fine with that. I'm quite okay with not knowing and not having the answers right now. So, let me tie these balls together and then I'll go through some of my books with you. I got the idea as I'm tying these together. I'm just doing crappy magic loop. And then I knit with both ends. Just context. I know magic loop can come out, but generally it's alright. So I decided to go through my books with you. I was thinking about it yesterday when I was talking to you about my stash, which I'm so much happier with now that it's kind of cleaned up. If you can see, if I move you, there is my pile of destashed yarn, which will be given away or donated, or I don't know what. We shall see. We shall see. I've already got some people commenting on my YouTube saying about it, if they want it or if they like what they think about it. So I'm glad for that because I really would love these to go to good homes and not be unloved and untouched as they have been in my stash. All right. I normally arrange my books in a very clear and nice way, but I haven't done that since I replaced them in here. So I'm just going to pull them out, see what happens, and then I might come up with an organization technique, style, something, as we go through. All right. So actual books first, and I'll literally just grab a handful and then start. Where's the other one of this? Here we go. You know what I might do? I'm just going to say it as they come. So, the Japanese Stitch Dictionary is a fave. As you can see, I bookmark a lot. And here is other bookmarks. I swear by this book. They can be really simple. They can be really complex. It totally depends. But I've used a lot of these for a lot of ideas, and I've actually knit a few things with them that are they coming out? I think some of my designs are coming out in these. The With Beauty and Grace shawl, the edging is from this book. So I adore this book. Adore it. I've got this one, which is this is by Hitomi Shida. And then this one here is by Kiko Okamoto. They're both great. I much prefer this one. I find this one a little bit more eccentric. For example, if I show you some of my... Here we go. So these are just... I don't even know if this is going to work, but showing you some of my favourite... this is one that I'm knitting Bouquet for Beth, which I still haven't finished. I've done all the basic bit. Now I just need to actually do the stockinette, and somehow I've stopped on that. So you can see there's just beautiful lace. It gets to... What else have I bookmarked? Again, really fun... Really fun, like, lacy textures. I love that fan and flare one. And this one makes me smile every day. And this one as well. I just love them. So it's got these really fun textures that I love. Whereas this one, I don't know, something about it. It's more random. They show actual swatches, which I do like. I really like that. But I feel like you can't always see exactly what they're showing you. I don't know. There's a lot more colour work in it, which isn't really a Japanese stitch dictionary to me. I mean, that's my opinion. That could be a very controversial and untrue opinion, actually. So I'm gonna stop talking on that one. But yeah, just something about it. I prefer the first one that I've got. I think as well, I had the first one first, so it like imprinted on me. Do you know what I mean? Like it became mine. So that's just what I think of when I think of Japanese stitch dictionaries. Okay, I've got Amy Herzog Knit to Flutter. This has been spoken about so many times by so many people, and it really is a classic. It talks about knitting for different shapes. So as you can see on the back, they've got different size models. And they talk about knitting to flatter different shapes, different bust lines, different waistlines, different hip sizes, different collars. It's really amazing. I know she does workshops or classes on knit to flutter as well, and I would actually love to take one of hers one day. I would just be really interested to see how, I guess, like how she translates her book into action, but also just to hear her knowledge and wisdom, because I think that she's a really incredible designer, and she really has a lot to do with making sure that patterns are accessible and sized for everyone. If you have a look at her website, I think you can plug in some details and you can get a fairly customized sweater for yourself, just like a plain knit sweater, based on your actual requirements, which I think is just so amazing. So I really enjoy her work. I have got Joe Sharp. This is the Gathering one. I don't know if you can, no, this way you can read them. I rate all of my books. I tend to rate them. If they're book patterns, I tend to go through and rate them all. So where is let me show you. This is a vest that I am so dying to knit. I absolutely love it. It is just so beautiful. I think it's the Devon. Yep, Devon. I was actually just watching Knitting Traditions with Larke. I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name right. She's Norwegian. And she just finished the Nordiska by Caitlin Hunter in the Ask which is the beautiful yarn that Hannah sent me yesterday. So, that Hannah had sent me that I showed you yesterday. The Ask, which is, like she said, very rustic. Like I said, very rustic. And she knit a beautiful top, like jumper in that. So that's what I want to do a cable design with. But this is, I guess, the measurements that I'm inspired by. I just love the way it fits. I love the styling. I love everything about it. It makes me so happy. So this is definitely one that I really want to do. I have knit this hat for a few friends. It's definitely like a 8 out of 10 rating for me. Anything? I think like this is Intarsia and it terrifies me, but it also quite inspires me. There was another one. Here we go. This is Ingrid. I love that cable pattern, but I was actually inspired by the boat neck to do my Yormala jumper, which I need to reknit. But that was the inspiration of it. So I really, really love Jo Sharp. I will talk about her because there's more to come with her. This is Lena Holm Samso, sorry. And she's got, do I have the other one in here? Yes. Essentially Feminine Knits and Perfectly Feminine Knits. When I first ever started knitting, like very first, I did a couple from this book. Again, I've rated them all. It tends to be colours that I don't like. So this one here is green, is not a fan of. Orange is like, yeah, right. And then 10 is like, if I do not knit this, I will have died. A very sad person. So I'll see if I can find some of my 10s. There we go. That's the Cocoa. And that is in the Perfectly Feminine Knits. So that's one that Essentially Feminine Knits. That's one that I love by her. And a 10 in the Essentially Feminine Knits is, yes, Clara. Which, oh my god, I want that so much. You know what I might even do? I might even do this in that. That would be fun. Maybe. I have no idea. So Lane Holmsalm is incredible. I'll put that up there for the moment. I'll talk about that in a bit. I have the Matter Anthology by Carrie Bostic Hogue. And so I've knit a few things out of this. Hang on, where's the Camilla? I wanted to knit this top. I haven't, but I wanted to. But what I actually did knit was, I didn't like it when I rated it, but this scarf, and I actually knit it for my grandmother, and she still wears it, which I think is lovely. And I knit the, does it show the full blanket? No. I knit the baby blanket of this for my niece, and for my cousin who I love. So again, I do tend to just get random inspirations through these, and then make them my own. Or if I was a newer knitter, I tend to knit straight from them. This is New American Knits by Amy Christophers. Again, some of these are absolutely stunning. The one that I'm currently, hang on, where did you go? Currently working on one. It's not a sleeve. Here we go. This one, the Tanner Cow. This is a whip that I started about 4 years ago and have barely touched. But I want to do it with beads, and I just wasn't good enough to actually do beaded lace knitting yet. So I was very ambitious, started it, realized I couldn't and stopped, but I haven't frogged it because I know that I want to do it. I have the Anne Budd Handy Book of Top-Down Sweaters. Again, I've rated, if I open this up, I love this one because it's spiral bound, so you can just open it however you want. Again, I've rated them all, but that's based on the actual sweater. I do go back to this often for techniques. So some of the ones on the back that it shows you is seamless yoke, raglan, set in sleeve, and saddle shoulder. So these are 4 different designs that she has in here, 4 different examples. And yeah, so I go back to these for techniques a lot. I don't actually knit the patterns in it, but I definitely look at the techniques. More. I have a lot. So down here, This is most of the front row. I have short row knits. I've talked about this one before that I absolutely love it. Again, rated all the patterns. Some of them I love. But I love the way that she explains short rows and the way that she builds on the concept of them. Yeah, I really, again, technique-wise, love this book. Alice Starmore's charts for knitting, for colour knitting, and Knit Like a Latvian I have spoken about very recently. This is the Knit Like a Latvian is the shop that sold me the Latvian wool, which I got really excited by because it's from Hobby Wool. And yeah, so I've spoken about these fairly recently. This is the food journey that I really want to go on in 2022 and talk about. So I'm actually taking that out of the pile because that shouldn't be in there. This is 750 knitting stitches, and as you can tell, I like a lot of them. So these are rated according to what I like, and I like quite a few. I love Stitch dictionaries. They're really important to me. I get a lot of inspiration from them and then try and make them into my own. I heard a quote yesterday that like creativity, like nothing is new anymore. So it's not about making something brand new. And I think this is something that as a designer I got really hung up on, or as a young designer, as a brand new designer, there we go. I got very hung up on the idea that I had to be completely original and I had to be completely on my own and no one could do anything that I was doing. And it's been hard. Like, you know, ideas and inspiration don't just strike one person, they strike many. And this shows throughout history. I mean, Alexander Graham Bell and the fight to patent the telephone, or the concept of electricity, the concept of gravity. All of these things have been well documented throughout history to have struck many people, and it's not just one person who gets this idea. And so, like the other day, I was scrolling through Instagram and I saw someone's work that was an incredible design. Unfortunately, it was something that I had also been thinking of designing, and I've just gotten to it too late. I hadn't jumped on it, and they had, and so amazing for them. But it means that now I don't want to design that idea because they essentially have, and I don't want to rip someone else off because that's completely horrible and rude. And even if I did have the idea for it and I've got proof in my journals that I had the idea for it like 2 years ago, it still doesn't sit right with me that my finished product would look very similar to theirs. So yeah, this concept of making things and having to be original all the time. Where am I up to? This is the right row. Being original all the time is quite difficult and sometimes confronting. And anyway, so the quote that I heard was, there's only 12 notes in a scale, like in the piano. So from C to C, there is only, well, C to B flat, really. There is B. Yes, B flat. C to B. I don't know. You know what I mean, on the piano. I have not played piano in a while, as you can tell. There's only 12 notes. And so it's not about who can find a brand new note. It's about how you put those notes together and how you rearrange them to make it uniquely you. And that's the thing. Like, we can listen to Beethoven, we can listen to Mozart, we can listen to Bach, we can listen to whoever, and they stand out as being completely their own music. And they haven't come up with a brand new note or a brand new sound. They've simply put the notes together in a brand new way that is uniquely theirs. And I think when it comes to knitting, when it comes to designing especially, a lot of people get confused with this, and they seem to think that unless I come up with something brand new and it has to be completely original and I have to do it myself, it's just not true. And so I think a lot of, maybe not a lot, but I've heard people look down on designers who use Stitch dictionaries, which confuses me because it's such a valuable resource. And it really is how you know that you've got something that would work, and you already have, you know, the stitch count, and you have the numbers, and you know what the product is going to look like, and then you can properly visualize your plans instead of having to sit there and muddle through and then potentially rip off someone else's work if you aren't careful. So I'm a big fan of, all this to say, I'm a big fan of Stitch dictionaries. I've also got, speaking of Stitch dictionaries, I've got this one, which is 400 knitting stitches. Again, I've rated a lot of them. I have the Debbie Bliss Knitter's Knowledge, which I bought from Dimmix. It was $50, and I've highlighted so much of this. If I just like randomly open to a page with no, that's got blue highlighting. I was gonna say, okay, lots of blue highlighting, lots of blue, lots of pink. So as you can see, I definitely read this one. And again, I go back to it for the techniques all the time. Brioche Chic. I love this book. I, again, go back to it for techniques all the time. I've never knit a pattern in it. I have rated them, but I've never knit a pattern from it. I do love this front cover pattern. But I love it because it gives me, again, so many techniques and so many ideas that I can do in here. I do find, maybe because I'm really good at reading, when I first started to knit, I didn't use YouTube. I went to the op shop and I bought knitting magazines and really old stuff and taught myself to knit from the terrible directions, which is why I knit, was it English method? I'm a thrower, not a picker. Because I just taught myself from the pictures and did what made sense. And then my mum helped a little bit, but most of it was fairly self-taught from really scary 1970s black and white, terrible hand pictures. And so I tend to, even now, I tend to read through books to get ideas or to get, to understand concepts. And I can see it if it's written, and I like it because I can constantly go back to it if it's written. Whereas even though YouTube, obviously I've still got access to it, it's on YouTube, I don't tend to go to YouTube much unless I'm like out. So if I'm out and I forget how to, what was it the other day? When I was starting to design my eucalyptus bud top, which I've just thrown everything on the floor, I had no idea how to knit brioche in the round, single color brioche. And I've done double color brioche flat, or 2-color brioche flat, and I was like, yeah, this is gonna be amazing, I can totally do that. And then just kind of got into my head and was like, oh, maybe it's really hard, maybe I don't know how to do it, what if I have to turn around, blah blah blah. And so I was out, and that's when I went onto YouTube, and I watched a couple of videos, and I was like, I'm confused, this doesn't really, it seems really easy, am I sure about it, blah blah blah. Came home, picked up this book, read through it, and went, oh yeah, I can do that. So it's weird, like sometimes I need to read it in black and white print before I can understand it, whereas a lot of people tend to be visual and they see it through YouTube. So just found that really interesting. I've also got Maggie Rietti, which is sweater design in plain English. And again, I have gone through this, I haven't highlighted it so much, but I read through it regularly, again, for designs, techniques, ideas. The last bit at the front of that, although I don't think these are going to fit, so I'm going to figure out where else to put them. I recently bought these books and I love them. So they're spiral bound, which means I can do this and not have to, that's a terrible page to do it on, but you get the idea. Not have to care. So this one here is cast ons and bind off, 54 step-by-step methods. And they really go through everything in detail. They give you when you could use it, what would look best, how you could use it. It's amazing. And then I've got this one here, which is increases and decreases. There are 99 step-by-step methods for increasing and decreasing. Again, so valuable. I am so glad that I bought these. I got them from bookdepository.com. This is Nora G's knitted cable source book, a breakthrough guide to knitting cables and designing with your own. I would love to be able to knit something in cables. These are the things that really intimidate me a lot. I feel like lace, I'm getting more comfortable with it, but cables still, I'm not yet ready to design with. I need to knit them a bit more. So this is something that just, I think they always stand out so beautifully whenever you knit with cables, and I love them. So I really, really, really want to knit with this, use this book and play around, but I just don't know yet when. Alright, I've got my, if you can see in here, my yellow books. I'll show you, hang on. So many magazines. Alright, now these are arranged in a particular order, so I will have to go through them in the correct order. Otherwise, I get very grumpy at myself. And where are we at? So these are the stitch by stitch, like, knitters compendiums. Have I tagged? Yes, I have. So these were, these are sewing, crochet, and knitting. And these were magazines that were sent out to people, I think, in the 1970s. Does it say the date of publication? Not really. But yeah, so there's creme de la creme knitting, a jacket and a skirt. I love that jacket. I think that's amazing. It's almost like the Spark Cardi by Andrea Mowry, except without colour. So I have gone through, again, it's got step-by-step course number 61. This is compendium number 5. So obviously you would have been subscribed to it and then collected these all. Talks about knitting a multi-sided shape. It's got crochet stuff in here as well, but I just don't knit crochet. I don't crochet, so I don't really know it. But it's got some really fun techniques all the way through it. There's patchwork knitting. There's, what else have we got? Knitting in the round to make gloves. And then it goes on to the next page for how to actually make the gloves. And then it goes into color work as well. So these, I just think they're so amazing. I love vintage knitting patterns. Again, I think because I started by exploring op shops and just, yeah, searching around for it. So I think because, I think because that's how I started, I just kind of developed an absolute fondness for it. When I moved into, was it this house? It was either this move or the move just before. I had to go through and get rid of piles and piles and piles and piles of vintage knitting books because I realized that I wasn't holding on to them because I liked them. I was holding on to them because I liked vintage knitting patterns, not actually those patterns that were in those books. So I basically went through and got rid of a whole lot, and these are the ones that are left. So I have a weird way of organizing. They are in alphabetical order and then in the number of release. And I will simply show you what's on top first because that makes sense, because that's what I've got. I'll make a bit more room for myself. So this is Pom-Pom Quarterly, what one is this one? Autumn 2018. And it's got that incredible colourwork jumper on it, which I completely fell in love with and so desperately want to knit one day. It is so stunning. So stunning. I love as well how Lina does, they've got a lot of representation, diversity. And I just love that. I love that they really, I feel like they go out of their way to do that. I haven't actually rated all these patterns in here, I've just realized. I think because I just fell in love with the first one, I didn't even look through the rest of it. I was just like, yeah, that's it, the Ishel. I just realized that this is so beautiful. I haven't even looked at the rest. This is the Patterns Zhivago. So this is actually, if you see at the back, these are 4 patterns in one. These are based on the Zhivago yarn. And I have knit the scarf, the cowl, and the woman's jumper, although it is in acrylic and it didn't wear very nicely, so I didn't like it by the end of it. This one is, so that is Patterns book 8011. This is 1310. And again, the winter warmers, you can see there's so many in the back, and I have knit quite a few of these. Like, quite a few, actually. None of the socks. But quite a few of the other items. So I've done the ear flap cap with the colour work. I've done the gloves. I've done the rib beanie. I've done the slit stitch scarf. I have done the beret, I have done the mittens up here, the gloves, and then these ones as well. So I've knit quite a lot of these. This is one of the first books I ever got when I first started knitting, and it was from Spotlight. So I've got a lot of it. This is Patterns 1309, so it comes just before 1310. And this is for Inca, which is another Patterns brand. And this is for family and homewares. Again, I've knit several of these again. I've done, those are for my sister, that one for my best friend. I think I've done a few others, but I can't remember what. Oh, I've done this hat for my little sister. Yeah, so I've done quite a bit. This one is something I am desperate to knit one day. I love it. It is, like, you can wear it 12 different ways. So this is Patterns Leaflet 7019. Why is it? No, 70 because it's before. That should be after. All right, we'll fix that. I desperately want to knit this. I just love it. So something about it, the versatility really speaks to me. This is a vintage one. It is Patterns Hand Knits 1043. And it's got these really cute grandmas in lace jumpers. Where is... Like, check out how amazing Grandma is. So cool. It's a twin set as well. I love it. Love that yoke. I find with patterns, that their sizing, their sizing is a little bit limited. For example, size 14 fits bust of 90 centimeters or 36 inches, which now wouldn't work. Because I'm a size 14 and that's my measurements are bigger than that. So yeah, I do find that a lot of these ones tend to run very small. And so one thing I would love to do is knit them a bit bigger. If I ever had time. I never have time. I'm going to put these back in the right order. This is Patterns 877. I love that jumper. I think, is this the one that I started? I started one. Oof. Look at that. Love that. That reminds me of the Tecumseh sweater. Just love it. They're all starting to fall apart because I've obviously had them for so long. 876. But look at that one. Excuse me. How cute. Oh, this is the one that I started. So I started it, but in a horrible acrylic yarn before I actually understood about yarn and everything. Hated it, but loved the pattern so much. So again, it's one of my dreams that that one day I will knit it, but I don't know when or how. Let's just gently fold that back up. All right, I'm gonna get a tissue and eat one. Yum. Okay. I have 2 liner magazines. Was that liner or was that Pom-Pom? Pom-Pom. Sorry, in my head I thought I said liner. I might have. So these are 2 liner magazines. I've got number 1, which is the Autumn Winter 2016, and number 3, which is Autumn Winter 2017. Again, haven't rated these, which normally I do. But I remember buying these together with the Pom-Pom one when I was down south a couple of years ago. Maybe 2018. And I remember just falling in love with these books. And I'd never owned a liner magazine. Just if you look through the beautiful photography, I know that that's something that they're known for, but it's just the stories they tell, the way they tell it, the writing, the photography, everything. It's just beautiful. So I really, really love them. This one here is called Sunday Morning. It is a Knit Picks collection. I don't know what they designed it for. No idea. But there's some that I really, really, really enjoy. Like, I love that. This one here. The under sleeve detail. Oh, the side detail. That's what I'm looking for. Side detail, Astrid. Side detail. I love this one. So this, again, I've rated them all pretty highly. This is the Color Block collection. Back when color blocking was cool. And I just like the techniques of it. This is the other Joe Sharp one that I was thinking about. And this is the Latvian Sweater. So it's just very intricate details. And I had planned on double knitting, as you can see, using this pattern to double knit a scarf for my dad. But I never got around to it. He didn't tell me what colours he liked. And then I just don't like double knitting. I've done it a few times, but I don't enjoy it. This one is a Winter 2018 Interweave Knits. Do I have any 10s in here? Yes, I do. I've got 1 10. Okay. One that you can barely see. That's okay. I think it's the very first one. I think it's that one there. I thought that was a 10 out of 10. Loved it so much. Again, these are just ones that I really like collecting. I just like looking through them for inspiration. This is Interweave Knits Fall 2012. This is Knitting Fall 2009, which is a classic op shop find. This is Cruci Volume 34. And super random. I remember getting this at an op shop and just thinking, what the heck? But it was just so much fun. I couldn't resist it. Was there, I think it was just mainly number 5 that I really liked. The front cover one. I have Collect Keaton in Country 8-ply. So this is, again, a Spotlight one, an Australian brand. And I knit... Oh, you can barely see it. No, let me find it and open it up for you so you can actually see the scarf, because it's a terrible way of showing you, but it is really cool. So I knit this scarf when I first started first started knitting. Couldn't tell you where it is now, but I did start it. I also love this boxy cardi top thing. Hate the bow neck, but I love the style of it. What else have I got? Ooh, okay. Collect Keaton 5000. This is, if you remember me saying yesterday that I had like 22 balls of knit picks, and I was desperate to knit it, but I am really intimidated by the pattern. Where is the pattern? Now, keep in mind, I was a brand new knitter. I just saw this book. I just found this book and was like, I'm going to knit that. Because when you're a beginner, you have no fear and no understanding of what's hard. And I miss that naivety. How absolutely gorgeous is that? So this is the Boyfriend Aaron's jumper with optional pockets. I have knit. Actually, do I have it? It'll be around here somewhere. I think, yeah. I have knit that much. Random stitch markers. These guys' ears have fallen off. That's a terrifying shit. Look at that sheep. With no ears. He's a very scary sheep. So yeah, I got, for a beginner actually, like this is years ago that I knit this one. Years and years and years. So I'm actually pretty happy with that. I should probably start it again because that's pretty cool. Look at that amazing work for a brand new beginner knitter. I'm impressed by myself. So I think this is the front, and then I got up to the pocket bit, or something about the pockets, and then I just stopped because I got really confused, and I was like, I don't understand what you're asking me to do, which is fair because I had no experience. I've also got, this is what I want to knit the Tanner cowl in from the New American Knits. If you can see, it is just the most gorgeous yarn. No idea who it's by. Can't feel a ball band in there. And I've got if you can see, little golden beads that I want to put in with this. But again, that's a lot of work and my little beginner brain wasn't quite up to it. While I'm showing you what else is in this special box, I've got this sparkle gem art, which I really want to try maybe in January. This is from one of my beautiful students and I am so grateful. And this is, I need to get this finished, like finished, and then blocked and framed. But this is a cross stitch that I did for my mum. So her house is called Hummingbird Cottage. That's what she named it. And all I really need to do, actually I should keep this out. All I need to do is like the backstitch bits, the outlines, and then I'm done. So I might actually keep this out and remind myself to get back to work on it because it is stunning. And I would love to be able to give it to her. It was meant to be like a Mother's Day gift and then a birthday gift and then I don't know. I'd like to give it to her sooner than later because I'm clearly not doing a good job on that. So I'm going to leave it out here for now. And then I've got, where are you? Where did I put you? I lost you already. No, here. This is a giant cross stitch. I originally bought it for my grandmother, who decided she didn't like it. Then my stepmother said she liked it. And I was like, yep, awesome, I'll finish it. And that's as far as I've gotten. I've screwed up in several places, and every time I try and start a new area, a new corner, I can't figure out where I'm up to. So it's sat for a while, very grumpy, but it is that the right way? I don't know. It is absolutely stunning. That's what it's going to be. So when I get tired of knitting, sometimes I like to do cross stitch, although that doesn't often happen. But yeah, so these are my books. Oh no, hang on, I've got two more books. Two more books to show you. Getting distracted, which happens regularly, really. Put you back. Put you back. Put you back in there, although I should keep you out. I'll keep you out. You're pretty cool. All right, two more books. So this is English. This is what I decided to show you guys yesterday because I'm thinking about what to do with my advents. For the Knit or Die Oz, I will put up a picture, maybe up here, of her beautiful, beautiful blanket. And if you can have a look, you can see that she's knitting it with a black, and so like it just pops out these colors. And I remember I had this book in my collection, Swing Swagger Drape. So this is designed by Jane Slicer Smith, and she knits the colours of Australia. It's her inspiration, and I really love some of her patterns in here. Some of them I do not like, but some of them I love. So where are we? This is the Swagger, the Harlequin Swagger. And then this is the one that I really want to knit. She has a swing coat, which is a bit smaller, which is the one I think I'm going to end up knitting. And then she has a few others, like she's got a vest, which I just think is straight out of the 1980s and nothing that I would ever knit or wear. And then she's got this really cool like scarf pattern as well, which I really like. So I I hate the colours in this. Oh my god, I hate the colours. Absolutely detest them. But the actual shape, like that little neck collar, the little split hem at the back, the cable detail, love that. So I'm thinking that is going to be my idea for the yarn, the Ask yarn. And the Swing Smoker drape, I'm going to have to buy, already breaking my promise to not buy any more yarn. I'm going to have to buy a contrast color. Again, I'm thinking black just because it'll stand out so nicely. And I'm thinking of doing basically top down the Advent from Knit or Dye Oz. I have no idea how it's going to work. I've never done mitered squares before, but I think it'll be fun to try. See how we go. Okay. And then the last book is something that I wanted to show you ages ago, but haven't. Oh, I like pulled my, what do you call it? Achilles? Calf muscle? I don't know. I pulled something at the gym today because I was doing squat jumps where you start in a squat and then you jump up. And I don't have enough coordination to figure out how to go from down to up. Not at all. So it was a very confusing. I was like surrounded by mirrors and I was watching myself and I'm like, nah, this is not, whatever you think you're doing, it's not it. But I kept doing it and then I hurt my leg. So, oh well. This is the 52 days of weeks of shawls by Lina. And oh my goodness, they are stunning. So this is the, do we have, here we go. I think I briefly showed this to you before. This is the Venus shawl, which I really want to knit with those big bulky Knit Picks ones that I showed you yesterday. I don't like this one itself, but I love the technique of it. So I've got technique written on my little tab. Lots of techniques. Again, I don't like the way this is done, but I like the construction. So I've written construction on the little tab. So I basically just went through and tried to say what I like or don't like. There were some of my favorites. There was like some incredible ones that I was like, yeah, I love this one. I don't remember. That was beautiful. But is it this one? No, that's okay. I don't remember. Oh, this one was a cool technique. So again, I've written technique in there. It's that weaving idea. So I just love it because it really gives me new ways. Gives me really new ways of looking at construction, at patterns, at techniques. And then I just get really inspired by it. And then I want to knit all the things. And then I realize that I don't have time. So that is my book stash. Sort of, kind of, a little bit. These are obviously so precious to me, all of these. And yeah, I have quite a few really important ones. Let me see if I can put these back in. No. Okay. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about is the idea for the Accomplish Along that I have talked about yesterday and then I posted up on Instagram. I have had some of the most amazing responses to this and I am so excited. So I kind of wanted your opinion. So what I originally was thinking is that I would do this as like the yearly knit along, accomplish along. That would just be overall over the whole year. And anyone could join in. It would be a public Instagram thing and I might do prizes from it. I like the idea of it being a bingo, so you have to get bingo in different directions, but also it just gives you that feeling of literally accomplishing your accomplishments. So it's that like win feeling because you get bingo when you're doing something that you would do anyway. For example, one of them is, a couple of them is knit a shawl, use an Advent, knit multicolor. Ding, 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 ding. A couple of others are knit a shawl, knit neutral. If I did those patterns, ding, 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 ding. So again, like you can really, or even the, I didn't talk about the knitted in, but I talked about it before. So again, there's so many you're gonna fall out. Okay. There's so many ways that you can bingo from using several of them. Like you don't need to do one thing per square. You can literally accomplish a lot through just using maybe knitting 2 patterns. And I like the idea of it being achievable and like rewarding yourself for doing what you would normally do anyway. I think that's the fun of it. So that was going to be a public one. And then what I was thinking is doing a monthly one, but doing it as an email list. So I've been talking about revamping my email list for a while. I would really like to. I will probably, I don't know, I'll figure it out. I will do a proper like sign up here for it. I was trying to think. I wanted to design something specifically for the email list, like a bonus for giving me your emails. But I haven't gotten around to it yet, so we shall see if it comes up. But yeah, so I was thinking of doing like I release monthly prompts and you get them every month in your email list. Probably the week before the new month starts. January will be the only one that I start on January because obviously it's a few days before and it's still getting sorted out. I've got all of them written down. I've got some of them are really fun. Some of them are just silly. Some of them, like February is like eat a lot of chocolate. Some of them are themed. So I think February is knit something green. No, knit something red. And then March is knit something green. Whatever St. Paddy's Day is. So I've tried to, I said knit something celestial for Lunar New Year. I try to put in like Ramadan. So there's fast from something for a month or give up something for a month. And then the 1st of May is Eid al-Fitr, which is feast day. So this could be you splurge, you shop, you eat a lot of chocolate, whatever you want. So I thought I would try and do it in something that is going to be achievable, going to be fun, and that you can spin your own way as well. So yeah, let me know what you think, if that would work. If you think a public, and like they'll end up being public on Instagram anyway, but that you would kind of get exclusive first looks because it would be emailed out to you first. I don't know. I love the idea of an email list that I communicate with you guys regularly. That's what I really want. So we shall see. All right. Well, I'm going to clean up this room a little bit more. I found the beanie for my sister, which I was grateful that I talked about yesterday so I could remind myself of. I'm going to continue watching a lot of Vlogmas because there's so many amazing people that I've been watching and finding more and then watching them. It's been really fun. There's 2 more Australian knitters that I found, or that actually, so we're all in a podcast, we're all in a group together on Instagram, and there's 2 more, which is Sarah Taylor Made and Platypus Knitting. So I'm going to go find them on YouTube and then stalk them. So I've got big plans for today of sitting on my butt and knitting a lot. I am up to the 3rd color or the 3rd mini in my side-to-side Aylin cardigan, which I love. But it really is not exciting to show because there's literally nothing going on yet. So when it gets exciting, then I will bring it back out and show you. But until then, I won't. So I hope you have a wonderful Thursday. It is Thursday. Wonderful Thursday. I'm probably going to go head off to the shops quickly. And then I shall come back and continue knitting. So I will see you soon. Bye.